3, 2, 1.
Here we go! Happy Freight Friday. Grab your beer. Get ready. You guys, you've made it through the week. You're done. It's going to be a beautiful weekend everywhere. I'm sure of it. We're going to drink beer. We'll have fun. You're going to meet one of the most freight experienced CEOs in the country. Andrew Teal is in the house. Whoa. I feel like we should give him an award or something. I'm glad to see you, Andrew. Amanda Miller is here. Chandler is here. Ron is here. Whoa, you guys. Wow. You guys are all coming out for Scott, it must be. So let's take a moment to reflect on last Friday, which was interesting. For those of you who have not watched that episode yet or listened to it on our podcast, Anthony Crincoli, Matt Fink. Wow. Let me just see this crowd. We got a lot of people here today. A lot of the greats. It's not Yingling, Ron. This is Blue Moon. I know, I'm a girl. We love our Blue Moon. I also am wearing an Oscar Blues Brewery shirt. My uncle works for the company. He sent me a bunch of swag, and it's really soft. It's like good swag. So, oh, look, ITS Logistics in the house. Looking good, audience, they say. Patrick, I see you. Good crowd today. It's beautiful outside. We're enjoying the weather, and now we're going to enjoy learning. So, okay, first, last Friday, okay? For those of you who did not see it, we had Ben Gordon, who is he's been in our industry forever. He's got a lot of money. He's got all those Ivy League degrees. He produced this map, and what it was is a map of all the technology companies in the industry. And if you want to be on the map and you know what I'm talking about, just make sure that you find the link in last week's post and you put your name in there and you can become part of it. It's something that you have to put your name in. So all the people who are harassing Ben for days and days, emails and calls and messages, poor Ben. He's never going to come on the show again. Make sure that you know if your company was not on there, you see a company who's not on there, use that link and it'll be easy. So let's get started. Let's introduce Scott. Hi, Andrea. I see you. Cheers from Chicago. And hi, John. I see you. So let's bring Scott in and we will introduce Scott. The reason why I reached out to you is because I did see your background. And what I wanted was somebody who's been in our industry for a long time, but not at the same company. I wanted somebody who's had experience at different companies, sort of like my background. It's a little biased. Hi, Shane. Hi, Thomas. And the freight coach is in the house. Hi, Chris Jolly. And so I wanted you to come on. So there's a lot going on in the industry over the past 2-3 years that I think you could reflect on and give us insight. And you could speak well to those veteran freight folks that are in my crowd, the sophisticated ones who have years of experience. And I think that you're a good match for them. So welcome. Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. How's Nevada treating you today?
No, first off, thanks for having me. Hey, everybody. Reno, Nevada is great. Easy place to live. It's smoky today because we have a huge fire happening, about 40 miles from us. And depending on where the wind blows, it just kind of smells like an ashtray when you walk outside. But can't complain, man. Our industry's in an interesting spot, and we're happy to be part of it. So look forward to talking to you today.
Are you from Nevada? Is that
Nope.
Where are you from?
I am from St. Louis, Missouri.
You are a Midwestern guy.
I am a Midwestern.
So what do you think? You went from Midwestern life. You probably lived in Chicago for a little while. I'm taking a wild guess.
I've been in Chicago. I've been in Arizona, Scottsdale. I've been in Iowa. Now Reno. So at my roots, I'm a Midwesterner. People take cookies to your neighbor, and you talk to people. Don't consider myself really a West Coast person, but freight's been great. The industry's been great for me for 27 years, and I think most folks in this industry kind of have those Midwestern, values system and communicate with each other well, and it's been an incredibly great thing for me. So
I'm excited. So tell us, when everybody's like, well, what is she talking about? The most freight experienced CEO. It was just my label, not yours. You had no idea it was coming. I just plastered it on it. Same thing I did to Ben and other people. That's my thing. But what do you feel like you have had a good run in this industry? And could you tell us a little bit about your experience?
I've been completely lucky. So I played college baseball, and my whole I had no plan. Like, I graduated college and it was going to be athletics or bust, and it was bust. So I was literally months away from being probably selling insurance and coaching high school sports. And I got a call from a recruiter for C.H. Robinson. This is 1994. And they basically said, "Hey, I'd like to make 18.5 and have a company car." I'm like, "Yes." I don't know what you do, but I'll take it. And so it just kind of started. I didn't realize the depth or the scope of the industry. And I don't think anybody does when they really get into it, unless you plan to get into it through college. And I've had a chance to spend 11 years there, and then really see what great looks like. Going from there to helping start up a nights brokerage business, and through CRST and Freight Quote and Redwood and now ITS. I mean, I've had a chance to be part of some really incredible companies that are extremely disciplined in what they do, great cultures, and I had a great opportunity to have a chance to kind of pick my path, if you will, a few years ago. And having all that experience coming in was totally beneficial in selecting the chance to come to ITS. But it's
What did you think when you were grinding away at C.H. Robinson, and you were like tell me what the first job
awesome.
was? What department?
So I bought and sold produce. So I was buying apples and selling them to wholesalers and hiring trucks and collecting the money. And I was running my own business from my desk. So I wasn't, today our brokerage business is really, you have customer side people and carrier side people. We grew up doing all sides of that, which I think was a really great precursor to, getting management opportunities and growing in your career. But I mean, we were obviously overworked and underpaid, but loved it. I mean, the challenge every day, the fact that the job is different every day, the people you meet, the competitive nature of it. I think anyone who's hungry and humble and wanting to really work can create a great career for themselves in the industry. And I think Robinson has probably been as good a training ground for that as any company in the world.
And did you feel restless in any of those positions, or like you were like, damn, this sucks, I need to get out of freight? Or you just plugging along and things were going really well, and then one day you decided to leave CH?
No, I mean, it took me 7 years, before I had my first leadership opportunity. And then once that started, it's been just quick, right? I mean, I went from basically running a 5-person team to running the Central United States, with a warehouse I had no idea how to run, and hiring dedicated carriers, and then moving over to night and learning the asset business, and then getting thrust into kind of running all of the customer service work for the enterprise accounts there, and learning drivers and equipment. And I mean, and all of a sudden, opportunities start coming your way, and I've always been somebody who aspired to be a leader of people, and continuing to grow. And I think that's been the reason why my journey has taken the turns that it has, is that you aggressively pursue those types of things, and once you have the experience and you can speak to them well and bring hopefully valuable solutions, your opportunities come your way.
Yeah, makes sense. I see Charles Long says that's a new program, Robinson Fresh. It's been in some hold message for about 6 years. We have Jake McCloud here. Hi, Jake. We haven't seen you in a while. A lot of OGs in the house, with Jolly. We got Chandler. We got Capital Logistics. Christopher Kelly's here. Amanda Miller, Ron Kane. Wow, you guys all coming out. And of course, Andrew Teal. Yes, for those of the smartasses, I did decide to change my background because, and this isn't a green screen, because usually Vitaly's on the show and he starts making fun of something in my background. So I thought, well, he can't make fun of flowers, okay? And they're not even mine. They can't make fun of flowers and just crap, right? And then I wore these sunglasses. Hold on. Look, Andrew Teal. Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, yes, Andrew Teal. That'll piss him off for at least an hour. Okay, so tell me what your advice is for those folks who are like, maybe let's say they're in their 1 to 4 year stage at a brokerage or at a trucking company, and they're like, I just want to be promoted, because I noticed, like, a lot of people, myself included, when I was in my early stage of my career, I just want to be in management. I just want to get promoted. I need more money. I need movement. I'm sick of sitting in this fucking chair, like blah, 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 blah. What's your advice? Because you did do the grind at the same company for at least 7 years. It wasn't easy. And you learned it.
At the risk of sounding like the person who tells you I used to walk uphill both ways.
You're totally going to sound like it. Go for it.
I think it's important to truly understand the cycles in our industry. Like we've had so many great tools now that you can train folks to understand how to hire a carrier, how to talk to a customer, how to communicate with people. And the training has been accelerated so much over the last 20 years or so. But what you don't get a chance to is there is seasonality in our industry, and there are cycles. And there are cycles where, in the brokerage world, the carrier has the upper hand or the shipper has the upper hand.
So true.
And that if you don't experience a lot of that, it's hard to find yourself. You can get so aggressive to put yourself in position where you could fail. Now, I'm a fan of the risk taking. I'm a fan of getting yourself out there. I think the most important advice I could give is find people, find forums, find people that you can learn from who have been through those wars, and ask them questions and tag along. And, I think one of the things that people need to do is get opportunities to get out and see different industries. I've been so lucky to work for a great carrier and for a great freight brokerage and for a great warehousing organization. And the more you learn about supply chain, the more you learn about how your specific, skill or company interacts in that supply chain. And since everything has become so much more, integrated, understanding why the goods you're moving are going where they go becomes extremely critical. So glom on to people who've been around the block, understand why your freight is moving and where and who's using it, and take every chance you can to go visit places and learn new things, new cultures. Hey, the one thing that I wish I could have done more of is learn more internationally. I think that's something that will.
Yeah. Yep. Me too.
So.
And Canada. I don't think I did enough with Canada to really, truly. I get the law and everything else, but I wish I had learned a little bit more in that area too.
And one of the things we try to promote is why, if your shipper is shipping Gatorade, why? Who's buying it? What stores is it going to? Where is it manufactured? Where are the raw goods coming from? And when you have a larger window to that one truckload you're moving, where you're trying to make a few $100 on it, or you're trying to get a backhaul or whatever the case may be, you can probably, be a better solution provider for the folks on both ends of that, which will eventually help you by understanding more about the whole chain.
Makes sense. First of all, I want to go back to Andrew Teal's comment. I think Zeke showed it earlier. He said something about the cycles, Zeke. Yeah, way too many people in the industry haven't lived a good 2 cycles in the industry: tight and loose capacity, highs and lows rates, seasonality, et cetera. Spot on. And it's interesting because for example, I was just talking to this, for anybody who doesn't know this company, I would love to know your thoughts. Maybe we'll bring him on. Vector. I was talking to Francis from Vector. I met him through Justin Hall, and his company is all about streamlining the bill lading process, making it electronic. And he's new to the industry. And that very first thing I told him is the cycles. Like, use the cycles to your advantage, but know when they're coming. Try to know when they're coming. And I could see it on his face. He was like, "What the hell?" He's new to the industry. I know he was like, "What the hell is she talking about? These cycles?" And I'm like, "It's this pendulum swing. It's horrible." And so I hear you. And it's something like you kind of have to painfully learn too, Scott.
Yes.
What did Ron say? I saw
Sometimes
Ron
it's
just
very
said something.
painful.
Ron says Scott is talking to something that a lot of carriers ignore. Too many meetings with carriers that had no idea how my supply chain worked.
Which is I think a great kind of, I don't know if you wanted to go here, but that's a great comment and a segue into, why use an intermediary, why use a partner. And I think, in my 27 years, brokers have been going extinct at least 4 separate times. And I'll forget, the first one was the fax machine. So if you think about what an intermediary is, intermediaries are managers of information to help their sides of the both sides of a situation do better. So there was the fax machine. And everybody said, well, now that we can go direct to carriers, shippers aren't going to use them. Then there were TMS systems, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, load boards. Load boards were next. So you would post your freight. Well, shit, I'll just post my freight. I don't need the broker. Then came TMS systems, and now we have digital freight marketplace. Every time
and then don't forget EDI tenders and
direct communication.
Yes.
So,
it's very interesting.
And there is a portion of the ad hoc freight market that obviously is evolving rapidly. But I think the coolest thing about all those different levels of innovation are great companies adopt new ideas and innovation, and they utilize that to effectively manage the supply chain better. So today, brokers, intermediaries, hybrids, by the way, I think everybody is moving to more of a hybrid model where you've got, you can't separate tech and execution. You almost can't really separate assets and non-assets anymore. I mean, you've got to have some way of actually managing, equipment or be good at it. But, you take those pieces of innovation and you adapt them, you assimilate to them, and you get better and you earn your margin through performance. I mean, I know there are shippers that watch this podcast. None of them want all of their freight posted to load boards.
Jesus.
They want.
I'm pretty sure Ron Kane would punch somebody in the face if he saw his freight in load boards.
Exactly.
Let's just put it out right now.
So people will take digital freight marketplace. They're gonna adopt it. JD Hunt's doing a great job with that. Robinson's got their own platform. Everyone's building platforms to manage the transaction between tendering a load and moving a load. But that doesn't tell the story. The story is all the why around it and the visibility you can create in the movement of those goods. Yeah. And that's where I think the next levels of innovation, great companies will adopt, and those thought leaders and those companies who provide service will continue to do so and be effective.
Tell me what is going on right now that's different, or like, for example, last Friday was a blow up episode because of this whole map that illuminated companies that submitted themselves to it, but illuminated companies in the industry for tech. And I don't understand right now the big fuss over tech. And is that new in our industry, or do we just like bright, shiny objects, or we want to be the new shiny thing?
I think people have found logistics as a place. I think as as driver wages have increased, as insurance costs have increased, the money we're talking about that large scale users of transportation and logistics have to now outlay. You used to be 5% of your cost or spend or your company's revenue was transportation. Now that's getting into 10, 15, 20%. So it's a meaningful number. And so people are flocking to this industry, trying to find a secret bullet, in my opinion, to find an angle to make something better or cheaper or stronger, which I think is a positive thing that we're having light shined on our industry. I mean, if you think about it, 10 years ago, we were just starting to see the first logistics degrees at different universities. It's an industry that has needed investment in innovation for some time. But it's not, it's just like going through freight cycles. It isn't a quick fix, so you've got to have this, I think what's happening, Cassandra, is that people with money are saying, hey, if travel agents can get disrupted, why can't freight intermediaries?
Right.
If you can disrupt the taxi cab industry, well, this is just transportation.
Right.
And while it's not that simple, it's forcing everyone to raise the water level and evolve faster than they ever have. And that will create more investment, more money. And in the end, it'll all be positive. It's not a negative thing. The fact that the industry is getting more eyes on it is great. But it's I just think it's a combination of several factors that are leading to now. Where I get a little concerned about it is it's not one thing or the other. I don't know how you can separate technology and execution, because the whole purpose of technology in our business is to execute transactions better, more efficiently, more visibly. So when I see someone, again, I'm not trying to glom onto the last episode, but you've got if I'm a tech player, well, what's the purpose of my tech? Purpose of my tech is to make this transaction happen. And how many times have we seen folks start a business that is a tech-enabled freight brokerage that becomes a regular freight broker?
Regular freight brokerage, yeah. And they're like, oh man, I gotta hire people and call carriers because these carriers aren't using my tech.
Yeah, and so I got to bring them in. I can't just buy the market forever because I can't make money on no margin or 4% margin. I got to make enough to afford the innovation spend. So I think
I like it. Like, what's wrong with just sitting down and grinding? You got the tech, but you really know how to freaking grind. Be there for your customer. You know their business. You're doing a great job. Like, and it's weird because some companies in our industry have gotten away with poor execution, but they got that shiny tech, baby. They got it.
And I think the shippers, quite frankly, who are, they would, I think they want more people to not just give them a tool, give me a tool and some advice, give me a tool and some process, and I think the other thing I think that's happening with all the visibility and information availability is that I think people are coming together more. There's more collaboration in the great relationships.
Ron says, I think the question is how many tech providers exist to be sold / cash out versus provide real, meaningful, and lasting value. Ron, where were you last episode? That is amazing. That's gold. I saw Matt Fink asked a question earlier. Did you see it, Zeke? Yeah. Scott, 2 questions, if I may. Any failures you felt were catastrophic, but turned out to be a great developmental experience? What are you focused on now in terms of your own or team's development? Thank you, Matt Fink. You're freaking awesome.
On a personal level, I think when you become successful in this industry, you do so because you're a great micromanager. So you're available 24/7. You're constantly understanding. Like, I always prided myself that my customers would never call me and know more information than I knew. So then you get into a management role, and you get 5 people working for you, and you start doing all their jobs. So I think the biggest mistake that I made as a leader most of my career was that I didn't give people enough opportunity to have their own voice or their own process, and just kind of make it a true meritocracy. You do, you don't do. Be there to help. Be there as a resource, but don't micromanage. I think especially with the generation of folks who are becoming leaders in our industry today, that micromanaging is not a great strategy. So that's on a personal note. Business wise, we've taken some risk I've taken some risk in my career on pieces of business that you expected would pay off in, let's say, the next year or the next year. And I think the way the industry works today, investing in success is one thing, but taking a beating for two cycles to hope to get a bigger deal isn't really the way it should work. Your solution ought to be, respected enough and priced well enough that you can actually make money, from the very beginning. And I think that the last part of that question was, what am I working on now? And, now it's, trying to be a better global citizen, trying to, build an organization that has the right values and empowers people to make decisions. And, those are, it's fun stuff to work on. I'm fortunate to get the chance to do so, but it's really trying to meld your personal value system versus your company value system and have all those things be aligned, which is way harder than it seems to do.
It is. And it's I saw John said I've been micromanaged in the past, and that was when I was my least creative. I couldn't agree with him more.
I agree. And I there are people, who, if there are people watching this who've worked for me in the past and experienced this, I look back now and I'm like, man, I was probably a jerk to work for in some instances. Not that I would yell at people, but I would constantly ask questions. What are you going to say? How are you going to say it? Who are you going to say it to? When are you going to say it? And I find myself today doing that, on occasion, and have to, pull the bridle back a little bit. But you got to give people a chance to flourish.
Oh, speaking of, let's see. Where is it? Michael Caney texted me today, and he was like, he freaked out. And Michael's been on the show a million times. I know Michael. I love Michael Caney. And he said he was very, very excited. He said that you are one of the most valued professional mentors and you had a major impact on his development. He said that, it was one good thing. He said, you would coach him and walk him through the decision-making process of, different situations that Michael has dealt with. I thought that was interesting. And that if Michael gave me shit, I'd be like, "Ooh, Scott, what's you been doing?"
Here it comes.
So it was kind of cool though to hear that. And let's see. There we go. So we got how much time do we have? Okay, perfect. We are perfect. We may go a little bit over in time, but tell me, we got ITS. For those who have no idea what ITS is, can you tell us? Do you guys specialize in freight? You're in Reno. Tell us everything. We want to know everything. There's ITS. Woo.
So ITS, Patrick, there you go.
He's happy now.
So ITS, I believe, and this is one of the reasons I came here. ITS has got a unique set of services. So we clearly do transportation, and we also do distribution and fulfillment. And we move everything. We do drayage work. We do network transportation. We do it we have drivers. We have trucks. We have freight brokerage. We have asset light logistics. We do e-com fulfillment, omni-channel distribution services. The thing that I think separates ITS from a growth perspective is that you don't see a lot of companies who are transportation specialists that also do the e-com fulfillment and managing in the building work.
So you actually have warehouses and you're doing the whole fulfillment. You're loading, unloading, packing, and all that jazz.
Yes. Whoa. So we can move a package. We're not doing a lot internationally today, but you say from the Port of Oakland through a facility out to the customer, whether it's small parcel or regular transportation. We do a lot of work in the middle mile space for high just-in-time supply chains like a FedEx or something like that. We do after hours distribution where we have the keys to facilities and we have our own employees making deliveries. So we have a very, very wide grouping of services that are intentionally focused on a full supply chain solution. And as we grow, I think you'll see us invest. We just opened a new facility in Indianapolis, so we're now over 1.3 million, 1.5 million square feet in the two markets, and that's going to be a focus of ours to create a geographic footprint, so that really any supply chain we can interact with, we can run visibility and execution through all of it. And what I loved about ITS going in, we're not unique in the sense of the business that we do. I mean, there aren't a lot of companies who have exactly our suite of services, I don't think. But culture-wise, we care deeply about our customers. We are probably the most upfront organization you'll work with in terms of telling you whether we can or can't do something. Which we were founded on the premise that we do what we say what we're going to do, and we ask a ton of questions on the front end. We're not the cheapest person on the market. We don't buy business. But we try to be smart with how we quote it so that whenever we do it, we're not giving surprises, 2 months later.
Yeah, I think people find that very valuable. Tell me what's going on in your industry. Like, how was it buying or leasing warehousing in Indiana? Tough market?
Every market's a tough market, in the warehousing space, or try to buy a truck or a trailer right now, or hire a driver, or all the water level has been going up. Indianapolis has been great to work with. They embraced us from the beginning. We're doing we're a big charitable company, so we do a lot of local community stuff. We count communities as one of our core stakeholder groups. We're getting involved in that in Indianapolis. We hired locally there. For our leadership, we didn't transfer somebody, although we did bring some folks from the organization there to keep our culture, but we wanted our leadership to be kind of homegrown in that marketplace. So they've been great to work with. But I mean, anybody in this call who's trying to buy a truck or a trailer right now can tell you that it's really difficult.
Yeah. What are you telling your customers with regards for warehousing and fulfillment? Like, what should we expect? Do we have any light at the end of the tunnel with capacity and the difficulty?
I think the next 5 years in this business are going to, or let's call it 10 years, are going to be the craziest 10 years we've ever seen.
Me too. Yep. So me too.
Right now you have this huge lack of supply, i.e. drivers. Like, trucks can catch up, buildings can catch up. That's all it'll cycle through. But there are not 200,000 drivers showing up tomorrow. So between now And when autonomous is real, you've got this constant problem. So what we're talking to customers about are the birds. Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's fucking country stuff. Like, hold on,
Yeah.
let me mute it. You can keep going.
That's okay. No,
It's Andrew Teal's fault. I'm telling you, every time Andrew Teal's around, my show gets derailed. Him or Vitaly. Okay, go ahead though. I'm listening.
What we're talking about is, we're trying very hard to get out of the mentality of, hey, you won this year, we'll win next year. We're taking rates down, we're changing networks, we're changing providers, and we're really trying to talk to customers about whether they choose us or not. Changing the scope of trying to play the game every year, but just understand the next several years are going to be difficult in managing and planning your net landed cost of goods. So working with a supplier, and maybe you go to a 3-month pricing or 6-month pricing instead of annual or 18-month pricing. And I think we're working really hard to make sure that everybody, and I saw that the line on small carriers, hopefully everyone in our chain feels that we're trying to bring value in that situation. And not everyone works, right? I mean, I'd love to know every transaction went great in our organization or every organization, but the advice we're giving is be prepared, because costs are not going down. In fact, they're going to go up, much higher at a much higher rate, I think, over the next 3 years than we've seen even the past few.
I think so too, and I think it's gonna be pretty volatile too. The birds won't stop. Jesus, my God. I keep looking to see if, like, when you guys aren't looking, I can throw something at them. They're so loud. Oh my God, Butterbread's in the house. I don't understand Catalin's comment. I don't know. It would be nice to care the same about small carriers. I don't even know what the hell that means. Catalin, you're gonna have to give us more details there or something. But I think, like Ron Kane has always said in all my episodes that he's been involved in, if you can still hear me over the freaking birds.
So there's a comment Corey just put up. This is so I can't envision a world where there's not a human being part of the freight transaction.
And just so you guys know, his comment says, "What does autonomous trucks going to do when you still need a driver?"
So I think the role of the driver is going to change. I think the driver is, and hopefully, I mean, we're already seeing it in the marketplace now. We're finally starting to get to a pay level that is starting to respect what drivers do. And I know in our world, it's almost double what it was, say, 3 years ago. So I think the more that wage scale moves and becomes attractive, the more it's going to draw folks into it, the more it's going to be, I don't know if this is the right word, but professionalized, if you will, respect it a little bit more. And you're going to be, it's more like a pilot job than it is a driving job.
Oh, interesting.
And I would like to, I am for one hope that this is everyone upgrades the way that role is viewed, because it probably is the most disrespected position of any blue collar work that I know of.
Yeah. Matt thinks his aircraft are on autopilot too, but still need the spokes monitoring the works. Drivers are never going away. So it was a great comment. Okay, we've kept you over time. I love having you on the show. I also love the amount of support people reached out when I announced I was having you on the show. They were very excited, which goes to show for your leadership. So bravo. You've been in the industry for a long time, and you haven't had any enemies come out yet. Like, often I hear people be like, why you have them on the show, blah, blah, blah. And you haven't had one yet, which means you need to start pissing some people off and cursing at them and yelling at them. You need to work on that, Scott. You're too nice. That's what that means.
I'll see what I can do. Thanks so much for that.
I'm excited that you can come on again. You're always welcome. And thanks to everybody else. And I would like to say one thing. I thought it was a great idea to have this background that nobody would make fun of. But all I did was get railed on about flowers, sun, hummingbirds, animals, and birds. So it's just like, I can't win. I can't freaking win on this show. Everybody have a great Friday, great weekend. Bravo. And enjoy we're getting toward the end of summer. So enjoy it. Take care. Bye, guys.